Hello ladies and gentlemen, and knife lovers everywhere. Tonight's knife monologue is about this most classic folder, and one of the oldest in my collection. It is the Emerson Commander, and it is the quintessential tactical, in quotes, self-defense, in quotes, military, fighting, folding blade ever. It is amazing. It is one of the knives that started everything. And I've had this for 13 years. This is a 2000 model. And I remember I ordered it in 1999 from knifecenter.com. One of the oldest and best knife stores online. They're still my go-to. I love them. Them and Blade HQ. Anyway, ordered this in 1999. Didn't really realize what I was ordering. I got it because of that recurved blade, and I had just gotten a credit card and didn't really understand the gravity of ordering a $200 knife at the time. And I ordered it and thought it would show up the next day or maybe a couple days later, and it never showed up. And finally, after I got in touch with Knife Center, I realized, or they informed me, that Ernest Emerson, or the Emerson Knife Company, in its earliest stages, they would make one knife and then sort of retool the shop and make another knife, like the CQC7 or the CQC8, and they would have sort of production seasons. And I was out of season ordering this, but I was so crazy about the design, the big finger choil, the beautiful recurved blade, that I had to have it. I was living in New York City at the time, and went to the New York City Custom Knife Show and saw one and got to hold it, and I knew that my decision was right. And so I waited, and then I eventually forgot about it until one day I was at work, and boom, it shows up on my desk. And life has never been the same. It is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. I love the shape of that blade. The swedge here up on top, the way this angles down right here, takes a downward sweep. The blade of the Commander is 3 3/4 inches long, and like all Emersons, it's made of 154 cm and is chisel ground just on this presentation side. And I saw a recent interview with Ernest Emerson where he was talking about his philosophy of chisel grinding the edges of his knives, and that was so that when you're out in the field, you know, if you're a soldier or a first responder of some sort, and you know, you're out there in the field and you need to resharpen it, it's only one side you need to sharpen. You can drag it across something, you know, however you're going to sharpen it, there's only one side to sharpen it. From his design philosophy, that is an easier way to maintain a knife if you're you know, out in the quote-unquote shit and need to sharpen your knife. It was a little confounding to me at first. I don't know why. It should be simpler, but I've gotten pretty good at sharpening this using my Spyderco sharp maker. The ergonomics are famous on this knife, and I think the ergonomics on this knife are what made Ernest Emerson famous for making extremely ergonomically sound knives. It just nestles into your hand right here. You got that choil, you got the thumb stud. It's totally natural. And he, Ernest Emerson, that is a lifelong martial artist, Filipino martial arts, chief among them. And so he knows something about holding a knife, he knows something about using a knife, and it comes out in his designs. You can really, even in edge-in reverse grip, it feels good, and that's rare for a knife with a knife handle with all sorts of, you know, choils and you know, ergonomics. This would actually be a great edge-in knife because of that recurve. The handle is comfortable in reverse edge-in grip, and you could really hook and pull and trap with that nasty curvy edge there. Yeah, I made that lock a little sticky. I have to work it out. And as you can see, I've sharpened it many times. Back when I had much less finesse, took off some of that coating there. But yeah, this knife was in my pocket every day for years. It's got this really smooth G10 and this pronounced pivot with the slotted screwdriver fitting, which I just think is awesome. I mean, it's real nuts and bolts. It's kind of made to field strip and be able to deal with out in the field with very limited tools, and it's just a fantastic knife. It inspires confidence. You carry this knife and you really do feel like you can pretty much handle anything that comes your way, even if it's totally not true. Of course, it's got the patented wave feature here. Snag it on the end of your pants, on your pants pocket as you pull it out. It opens up really fast, faster than a switchblade, as they say, because you don't even have to index it once it's out of your pocket. You just pull it out of your pocket, boom, it opens up, and you've got a knife in your hand, ready to go. It's got these, can be taken down with a Phillips and a slotted screwdriver. I just actually took this apart last night, first time I'd done it in years, and oiled it and tightened everything up, and it's got this it's got one of the old style, very thin liner locks, but they are titanium, the liners, and it's smooth. It's broken in, obviously, like all Emersons have to be broken in. This one was broken in 13 years ago, so anything I do to it now is gravy. It's still a little sticky. I think I got some oil on the lock face, on the lock bar face, inner face, but that'll go away with time. I've always loved this classic, uncomplicated Emerson pocket clip. Just my favorite pocket clip around. This G10, so slick, but it never feels like it's going to come out of your hand. I think it's the ergonomics of this knife. I know the Commanders now, and for many years hence, have or since have jimping right here, which I'm slightly jealous of. But then again, this is a classic version of a classic knife, so one of these days I'll get a new one, and with the standoffs and everything. It's got this small backspacer here. The new ones I know have standoffs and are thicker, more like this classic CQC7. This is a new version, 2013, of the CQC7. That will come into play another time. But this knife, with all the use it's seen, so little of that coating has come off. I don't know what they put on there, but I've seen Carter, formerly known as Juju 1313, now known as Blade Brotherhood. I've seen him try and remove the coating off of one of his Emersons, and basically just had a hard go at it. Did some scraping and some came off, but it was way more work than it was worth. I think it was an experiment he was doing, and it's nice to know that some people do that kind of thing, do those kind of things to their knives. It's good to know that this coating is stout-hearted and true, like this knife. Look at that. Emerson, USA, 2000. You got the thumb disc. That comes off, also with a small Phillips screwdriver. Got that awesome swedge. People sometimes complain about the finish of the Emerson knives. They don't like that you can see machine marks in places, and I guess I can see their point. You're shelling out, you know, a couple $100 for their knives, and sometimes people expect certain, you know, there's certain expectations. For me, I think it's really cool. To me, it's like sort of like seeing the underpainting of a beautiful painting. You see a painting, and you see that it has a history underneath. You see that other things were painted on that canvas before the final image was, you know, crystallized. To me, that's what seeing some of these machine marks means to me. You can see that someone was holding this thing. It wasn't just running through a mill and just popping out. Not that I have problems with milled knives, certainly, but you can see the human history in this knife. And never even occurred to me until I saw some YouTube videos on it, and I started looking at my Emersons, and oh yeah, oh, it's a little rough right here, but it's not rough to the touch. You can just see where the machines were. Beautiful knife. Let me compare this to a couple of other Emersons I have. The classic Tanto CQC7. This is a 2013. The previous owner, I got this off of someone on Blade Forums. Let me get this fingerprint off. It looks like the previous owner, even though he denied it, took some aircraft stripper and removed some of that, tried to sterilize the blade, but it was in there too hard, so it didn't come off. Some of it came off. It's a great knife. My CQC8, mini CQC8 Horseman, which I would love to get the full-size version of this. I love that blade shape. It is just fantastically beautiful. That swedge up on top, pocket saber, some people call it. It is just a beautiful knife. This is a real user. This is a real workhorse. And then I have this Peace Arc, which is, I'm going to do a video on this one soon. I never hear anything about this knife. Very few videos out there, but it is wicked, wicked. SARC standing for Search and Rescue Knife. P standing for Police. Peace Arc. The regular SARC has a blunted end, so you can, you know, not gut someone as you're trying to cut their seatbelt for first responders. But this, being the police model, has a more serious business end. But this is a wicked knife. Love that. So that's my Emerson family. More about that later. Emerson Commander. My brother just got the Super Commander, and I cannot wait to see it. He got a 2013. I can't wait to compare the 2013 to the 2000 version and see the many ways they differ, and of course the many ways they are the same. I'm sure they're both stout-hearted, kick-ass knives. I just love this. I'd be heartbroken if I lost this knife. It's been with me so long. Alright, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.